In this video, I want to discuss something called RV terminology. And what I mean by this, these are all the various names that people use to call an RV. There's so many different names out there, and people have different meanings for each one of them. So when we get phone calls, people say, hey, do you have this, that, or the other? And, of course, we help them out. But for those who don't know, or maybe would like to be a little more educated, I've got a thorough list, and I'm just going to run down those as quickly as I can and explain the different RV terminology or the RV names. So I've broken them up into three categories, two main categories and then kind of a subcategory, if you will. The very first one, or first terminology, not even in any category, is RV. What does RV mean? It means recreational vehicle. So every other name hereafter refers to a recreational vehicle. So no matter what you're talking about, it is still a recreational vehicle or an RV. All right, so let's just clear that up right from the get-go. Okay, so the first category I would like to say are called your drivable units, or your motorized units, or your motorhomes, which is a very popular term. These are any kind of RV that will have a motor built into it, so that way it's self-driving. You don't need to pull anything or do anything with it. You just get in it, turn on the key, and you drive away. These are motorhomes. And they're usually gas. They can be diesel, but that's generally the only two types of engines out there. So then they are broken down into classes, which in one of my other videos you can see the different classes and what they kind of mean. So you have a Class A, which is the long cigar bus style looking motorhome. And then you have your Class C, which is what I like to call a cab over, because there's a bed or a nook above the cab area where you drive. And then your Class B, as in boy, for the conversion vans. Anything that's on a van chassis, like a Mercedes Sprinter, a Dodge ProMaster, a Ford Transit, or whatever else is out there, and they are converted into a motorhome. So that's a Class B. Now, along with the Class Bs, you'll have something called a camper van. This is popular in Europe. You'll hear this terminology used a lot over there. And I imagine that's because smaller motorhomes or smaller recreational vehicles are popular over there because of smaller streets, smaller parking areas, smaller space, whatever the case may be. So I get a lot of my, foreign customers who will call in and say, hey, do you have camper vans for rent? And of course, we know what they're talking about and we can help them out. Now, here's some subcategories of these types of motorhomes. You have something some people call a diesel pusher. Maybe you've heard that terminology. All that means it's a Class A motorhome, but it has a diesel engine mounted in the rear, and it pushes the motorhome down the street, let's say. That's why it got the nickname diesel pusher. And to my knowledge, I don't know that there's any gas-mounted engines in Class A's that are mounted in the rear. I have no idea. But generally speaking, a diesel pusher is going to be that. Another one is a Super C. Maybe you've heard this term. These ones are fairly newer, I would say. And these are going to be your really big box truck looking Class C style motorhomes. They are on a diesel chassis, and they are an International, a Freightliner, some of the other big names I can't think of right now, but those are going to be your big monster looking Class C's with the diesel engine in them. That is a Super C. The last one goes along with the Class B, and this one I want to talk a little bit more about because this one kind of bugs me a little bit. Me and the manufacturers don't get along with these next terminologies, and that is this: a Super B or a B plus. So what do I mean by this? In my opinion, anything that is mounted to, say, a truck chassis, which are like your Class C's, that falls under a Class C. If it's mounted to a van chassis, like your Sprinter, your ProMaster, that to me is a Class B. And what manufacturers have been doing is they are cutting away the Class B conversion vans and putting a box on the back to make it look like a Class C motorhome. But to me, they drive and feel like a Class B. So I call them Super Bs or B plus. So again, manufacturers will call those Class Cs. Some will call them Class B pluses or Super Bs. I personally, because of what I already said, feel they are in the B category. And that should pretty much sum it up for any of the drivable motorhomes that we have out there, or that's out there. The next category is your towable units. And that's simply anything that's going to be towed or pulled behind your personal vehicle. And there's a lot of names for these as well. So again, you have a towable unit. You have some call them bumper pulls. To me, a bumper pull is going to be something more on the trailer side, not the fifth wheel side, which I'll explain in a minute. Meaning it's towed or pulled from a hitch, a regular hitch on the back of your vehicle. That's a bumper pull. You have fifth wheels and goosenecks. These are ones that are similar to like a semi-truck style, to where the trailer kind of mounts on the back of the pickup truck in the bed of the truck. That's a fifth wheel or a gooseneck. At this time, Hightened Path does not rent any fifth wheels or goosenecks. We might in the future, and there are some companies out there that do it, but we are certainly not one of them. They're just very large. They take up a lot of space. So that's that. Then the general term for a towable is a trailer or a travel trailer. That's the generic general term when people say, hey, you have a trailer for rent. But unfortunately, people, when they say trailer, they could mean motorhome too. So it's kind of funny in that regards. Now, you have, to me, going back to the trailer, a trailer is a hard-sided unit. And what I mean by that is they're not a pop-up with the canvas canopies on them. They're hard-sided. All four sides are hard-sided. Now, you have what's in between that, which is a hybrid. A hybrid is the best of both worlds, in my opinion, and that would be a pop-up and a hard-sided. So all four sides are hard-sided in travel, but when you go to set up camp, the front and the back open up and flip out, and now they're soft-sided on the outside. The nice thing about hybrid travel trailers is that they are lightweight and they can still sleep a lot of people. So that's a hybrid travel trailer. Now, going back to, I've already mentioned, a pop-up. Another term for a pop-up is a folding camper or an A-frame. A-frame is slightly different. And all that a pop-up, a folding camper, or an A-frame, however they come equipped, that just basically means that you have to crank them up and they'll open up, and expand, and they allow for a lot of sleeping space. Generally speaking, these are not hard-sided. The A-frames are hard-sided. And an A-frame is, again, same concept. You crank it open, but it just builds up into an A-frame, and that's your little camper, your little trailer. But the nice thing, again, about pop-ups is they do sleep a lot, and they are lightweight, similar to a hybrid. The thing that I love about pop-ups personally, especially with my kids, is that it's like a glorified camping experience. They're open all the way around. You've usually got, the not glass, but like the see-through canvas all the way around, which is really nice. So it gives you kind of that camping feel and that tent feel without being in a tent or laying on the ground. Let's see what else. So I think I've covered all of the category 2, towable, bumper pull, hybrids, pop-up, folding camper, A-frame, hard-sided, travel trailer, fifth wheel, gooseneck. So yeah, we got all of those covered. So now the subcategory, I would say, these are general terms that people use a lot, and they mean pretty much anything, if you will. And that is camper. Hey, do you guys rent campers? Yes. Do you want a drivable or a towable, right? And that's where I go with that. Another term is all season. Do you guys have all season RVs? And sure, sometimes we do. All season just means that it can go in the wintertime and the tanks are usually heated, or the water pipes are coiled and heated. But mind you, in another separate video talking about can I rent an RV in the wintertime, we always leave them winterized. There are rare exceptions, but even if it is an all season motorhome or RV of any sort, we still leave them winterized. So just know that. Another one is extreme conditions. These are becoming popular from Australia and New Zealand. You've probably seen them. Maybe you have. Just Google them, look them up. We don't have any at this time. They're pretty magnificent RVs, and they are just beasts. They are fully equipped. I mean, they are rugged. They go anywhere. They are tough. But yeah, those are extreme condition type RVs. Pop-ups have extreme conditions, and that just means that they're lifted and they've got fatter tires and maybe the diamond plate around them, and that's an extreme condition pop-up or travel trailer. And then the last one is a toy hauler. The thing about toy haulers, people used to assume toy haulers were only in a towable unit, but now toy haulers can come in a Class A, a Class C. I don't think they can come in a Class B, and they're in fifth wheels or any type of towable travel trailer. What a toy hauler is exactly that name. The very back of the RV is built into a garage, and there's a big, door that folds down, and that allows you to put your toys inside, whether it's your motorcycle or dirt bikes or quads or whatever it is that you're towing alongside of or inside of it. And that's a toy hauler. And again, at this time we don't have any. Always check our website and see what we have in our inventory. Inventory changes all the time and every year because this is an owner consigned rental fleet. And then one more that I kind of forgot to mention is called a sliding camper. A sliding camper is basically a RV, if you will, or a camper box that slides into the back of a pickup truck. At this time, we don't have any, and hey, maybe somebody out there watching this, maybe you've got one, you want us to rent it for you, give us a call, let us know. But that's a sliding camper, and they're pretty cool units as well, but we don't have any. So that should cover all of the RV terminology. I'm sure there's some out there that I've missed that I'm sure we'll still get calls on, but hopefully this answers your questions. And when maybe if you've watched this, when you call in, you have a better understanding of what you're looking for. Anyways, thanks for watching the video. You guys have a great day, and watch some more of our blogs and videos.